Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Walking the Earth, Turkey. Today we are in the provincial capital of Manisa, in Manisa province, in the Aegean region of the Republic of Turkey. And we are at the Sultan Camii Kulye Complex. And this is the medical museum. Now the Kulye, it comes from the Arabic word kul, so all. So it had a number, a Kulye complex. They're found throughout the former Ottoman territories, especially in Istanbul, former Constantinople. And they're typically associated with Sinan, the great architect. And a Kulye, like this one, it had 8 buildings. So the centerpiece would be the Jami, the masjid, and then the gathering place for Friday prayers. And then you would have like this was a hospital, and it was a mental health institution. And then there would also be there was a madrasa, there was a primary school, there was a guest house, there was like a food pantry, food kitchen, to feed poor people in the neighborhood. So it had a number of different buildings with purposes. Some of the other kulyes in other areas would also include libraries. They would include Quran schools. For instance, the Suleyman Kulyesi, which was designed by Sinan in Istanbul, it also included not merely the library and whatnot, but it included madrasas for the 4 madhabs of Sunni Islam. So it's like now these areas, if a madrasa would typically be Hanafi, from my understanding, but in certain areas like Constantinople, they had more than that. Now the masjid, I just prayed Asr there, and it's a lovely masjid. It was commissioned by Suleyman, and it was dedicated to he's the Qanuni, the lawgiver, called the Magnificent, and he's one of the great sultans of the Osmanli or Ottoman Empire. And this whole complex was dedicated to his mother, who was his one of his primary advisors until she passed away. They were very close, apparently. So this is a very fascinating place. Like going through here, it would require, if you're going to come and visit here, which I would highly suggest if you're interested in medicine or history or the Ottomans, what I would say is spend more, like make sure you have at least an hour, because there's a lot of reading material if you're interested. And it takes you on a tour through a number of rooms with plaques that are in Turkish and English. And they cover the various medical systems. It covers medical history since ancient times, including Greek, Indian, Chinese medicine, Avrupa medicine, European medicines, Tibi medicine, so Islamic medicine systems, and then it goes through and has plaques about different researchers and practitioners of medicine and related arts and sciences. And it's very fascinating because here at this hospital and treatment center, this clinic, they treated people who had various mental instabilities, mental illnesses, so to speak, and they were utilizing a number of very interesting treatments, including music therapy. They were using water therapy with the sound of fountains and whatnot. They were also using aromatherapy. And they would have utilized a number of different techniques such as cupping, massage therapy. So it's very, very fascinating, very holistic in their approach. I was intrigued going through here. I didn't have enough time to read all the materials because I got here, they close at 5 p.m., at least in the winter time. So I only had about 20 minutes to wander through. But it's very fascinating how many Islamic practitioners and researchers in the medical fields were also great philosophers, musicians, and masters in various arts and sciences, Renaissance men, so to speak. And this museum takes you from ancient times all the way up through the Turkish Republic, and it discusses various kinds of medicines and treatments. It shows you the instruments for surgery. Some of it's a little bit raw, the models, showing eye surgery and various, like cauterizing wounds, boils and whatnot. So it's a fascinating place. I highly recommend it. I'm intrigued. I also heard there's an excellent health museum up in Edirne, in former Adrianopolis, up on the border. It's in Turkish Thrace, which is on the border with Greece and Romania. So there's supposed to be a great one there, and also another Sinan mosque is there, the Selimiye. So it's a very fascinating place that I intend to get to, inshallah, and explore some more. I'm very interested in medical and scientific approaches to life. And so anyway, if you get a chance to come, if you go to Izmir, which is former Smyrna, Manisa is about halfway between Izmir, which used to be Smyrna, which is discussed in the book of Revelation in the Bible, and also and it's halfway between there and Sardis, which is also one of the 7 churches of Revelation. So this is a very interesting area for Christians, for people interested in Ottoman history, for Muslims. So I would highly recommend it, and just make sure that you have enough time to wander through the museum and read all the materials if you're interested. They also discuss how horoscopes were very, very important to many of these medical practitioners. So they would study star signs, not to predict future as much from my understanding, but to try to address different medical treatments and like what, including musical therapy that might be beneficial for certain signs, like a Libra or a Gemini. And so this was interesting. I'd never heard about these kind of things. So it's quite interesting. So until next time, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.